Work hard, party harder, or at least that was the motto that I lived by for many years. Welcome to my Rooted and Real series, where you get to see the real me, behind the coach, behind the sessions, behind the camera. Let's just get rooted and real. So in the first episode, you may have seen that I was talking about my hair loss journey, and within that video I touched on how I wasn't looking after my body and mind very well in the lead up to me losing my hair, and the hair loss itself is what sparked me into looking after myself properly. I really did live by a work hard, party harder mentality, and I laugh about it now because I really did take it to the extreme. I was working in a senior management positions within very fast-paced industry, sometimes working 6 days a week, often working 12 to 14 hour days, and then when I did get weekends off, or even if I didn't, I was really partying, because I found that that was the only coping mechanism that allowed me to blow off some steam and disconnect from the stress. And it actually got to the point where partying and this stressful work cycle basically became my identity. And if I wasn't busy with work and I wasn't out socialising and partying with my friends, then I felt really unsettled. And even at the time, I knew that I wasn't treating my body well, I wasn't treating my mind well, and my identity became so attached to it and it became so habitual that I struggled to get out of it, and I struggled to see how I could get out of it, because all of a sudden my life was all consumed and I made sure that I was constantly busy. There was no downtime because I was completely avoiding spending time alone. Why? Because I knew if I spent time alone, the negative, horrible thoughts that were seeping out of my low confidence, low self-esteem and poor mental health would take control. So instead of facing them, I avoided them. Actually, I wasn't just relying on partying, I wasn't just abusing my body in that way, but I wasn't even nourishing my body correctly. I was eating junk food all the time. If I couldn't party, the next best thing for me to do to unwind as my tool in my toolbox was to eat. Alongside the partying was also a bit of a food addiction, relying on food to make me feel better, getting my dopamine hit from my food. And alongside both of those was definitely binge watching TV and scrolling on my phone, which, let's face it, there's nothing that I've mentioned in this video that is unrelatable. And I think that that is what the scary thing is with our culture right now, is overeating, over-consuming, over-partying, over-socialising, watching too much TV, doom scrolling on your phone. They're all really normal. And that's not to say that we can't indulge in them and enjoy them, but if it is out of balance, how is that having a detriment onto your life? Because I know when I was in that position that I was in all those years ago, I knew it was having a detriment to my life, but I wasn't willing to change. And then when I got to the point where I couldn't ignore the signs anymore, aka my hair falling out, that wasn't the only thing though. Like, my relationship suffered with friends that I'd had for a long time, with my family, not completely crumbling, but not in the best place that they could be. I had no love for myself. I wasn't in a romantic relationship, and I had no view of getting into a romantic relationship that was healthy, because I didn't feel deserving of it, because I had no self-love, because I had no confidence, because I had linked all my confidence, all my self-love, all my self-worth to my productivity at work and my social calendar. So with a blink of an eye, leaving university, going into a senior management position, I developed these really unhealthy coping mechanisms, and it just kind of spun out of control, and then I couldn't ignore it anymore. And that was the turning point. The hair loss was actually the turning point, because I realised that how could I be early 20s as a lady who should be healthy losing my hair, and how can I genuinely having that lifestyle question why my body was having that response. I had to change my lifestyle, and that is what got me onto this trajectory. So as much as going out partying and socialising, eating junk food, doom scrolling on your phone, binge watching TV, smoking cigarettes, they're all very normal within our society. I'm not here to say that you should avoid everything at all costs. We are human beings, we live in a modern world. These are the things that we get a lot of enjoyment out of, but one thing that I do stress on with my clients is how healthy is your toolbox and how can you tweak things to make it healthier rather than eradicate them. And that is why I pride myself on doing this work, because when I did make that turn into a healthier lifestyle, I shut out everything and completely over restricted, and it led to me falling into other rabbit holes that were not healthy. The key to life is balance. Balance, balance, balance. I cannot stress that enough. And we don't really live in a society that's built on balance anymore, because we can overindulge so easily and we do not need patience. Everything is instant. So we're not really wired to have patience anymore. So it feels even more, but I feel like that's the biggest lesson, balance. And that wraps up today's episode. But if you feel that you are out of balance somewhere with these modern coping mechanisms and you want to take back control of your life and these habits, these coping mechanisms, then please reach out to me. I would love to help you. Thank you for tuning in for today's episode, and I'll see you next week for the next episode of Rooted and Real.